Growing group Wikileaks has released what it says is the largest ever publication of confidential documents on America's Central Intelligence Agency. It includes revelations that the CIA is apparently able to disguise its own spying as the work of other countries or individuals. RT's Caleb Morpin has more.
Wikileaks has come out with a new batch of CIA documents, and the revelations are quite impressive. Apparently, American spies can hack almost any type of smartphone, bypass encryption, and snoop via smart TV. Now, the documents show that the U.S. consulate in Frankfurt is apparently a secret CIA cyber surveillance hub. All kinds of agents whose primary work is spying on people in the Middle East, Africa, and Europe have set up shop right under Berlin's nose with diplomatic visas. Remember what Angela Merkel once said?
Since we started talking about the NSA, I have always made it clear to the US president, spying among friends is not acceptable.
Too bad those being spied on are often longtime U.S. allies and NATO members. Back in 2012, the United States spied on the French presidential election campaign. And should we even bother to bring up Merkel's own phone? What more? The CIA has a program allowing it to mimic all sorts of techniques. It's called umbrage, and it leaves behind the fingerprints, i.e. the password lists, keyloggers, etc., of other hackers. Essentially, it allows the CIA to make it look like someone else did it. And the CIA maintains a substantial library of tricks and techniques stolen from other countries, including Russia.
This is analogous to finding the same distinctive knife wound on multiple separate murder victims. This unique wounding style creates suspicion that a single murderer is responsible.
That's one of the classic aspects of it, which is done not, of course, just by the CIA, but by other agencies, and that is to give the impression that the attack is coming from another source, and that's one of the state-of-the-art ways of doing it. You, of course, demonstrate, or you throw, if you like, the investigators off the scent by giving the impression it comes from multiple targets or multiple sources, and that's certainly one of the cases that has been made, of course, in recent times with allegations of hacking and interference in electoral systems and so on.
CIA officials refuse to confirm the authenticity of the report, but available experts aren't exactly questioning or doubting it. The fact that the CIA is able to carry out essentially false flag hacking is certainly relevant in the conversation in the lead-up to several European elections and the rumors about mysterious Russian hackers. Caleb Maupin, RT, New York.
Well, some reports suggest the revelations could be used to build a case about a so-called deep state plot to blame Moscow for hacks carried out from within the US. Supposed Russian interference was blamed for several recent political scandals, with the US presidential election at the forefront. However, no evidence has so far been presented to back up the claims.
Massive interference in American elections.
Vladimir Putin personally was involved in this.
Russia was meddling in our election.
Covert Russian hacking operation.
These hacks have taken place by Russians.
Russia's behind this in some form.
Russian state actors broke into the DNC.
Apparently they were able to obtain Russian malware, and they can turn that around and make it look like it's coming from Russia. And that gets into our political narrative that we're hearing these days of hacking and what have you, and blaming it all on the Russians. Was it something that one of the earlier hackers obtained from the release of this information and then turned it around in order to put the blame on the Russians? Big question.
Some of the leaked files actually show the CIA might have a weak spot for the Russian president. According to Wikileaks, 5 of the agency's covert listening post servers are called Pocket Putin. Well, meanwhile, Wikileaks has promised more leaks, saying this first release is only 1% of the data it possesses. Well, the leaks have already received plenty of attention online. Former CIA employee turned whistleblower Edward Snowden says the publication is a big deal and it seems authentic, while an official from the American Civil Liberties Union stressed the intelligence community's apparent manipulation of everyday devices. And a human rights watchdog that focuses on privacy says the data could finally prove the extent of intrusive hacking methods used by the US government. Well, we discussed the revelations with a former CIA officer and whistleblower who says people's rights are at risk.
I have a question for the CIA. If they're targeting iPhones, if they're targeting Android phones, if they're targeting Samsung televisions, half of American households have Samsung televisions. Does that mean the CIA is spying on American citizens? As soon as I heard about this story, I canvassed all of the major media outlets in the United States online and found almost nothing on the front pages. CNN, you can't find anything. MSNBC, Fox has one little line, Yahoo has a line, Politico has it buried at the bottom of the page. It's as though the mainstream media in the United States is deliberately ignoring this issue. I think that we ought to be shocked and disgusted if the CIA is doing this to American allies, to NATO members, and to American citizens. That's where the real danger is.